Next day now, new table, in for 400 with pocket nines. I open at 15 in early position. We get two callers, the big blind and the button. The flop comes 349, 345, I mean. Now the big blind donks for 15. Not what we wanted to see. We do have an overpair, but the board is just too connected to be raising him. So we just call, and the button does as well. The turn is a 7. This board just can't get any worse. Now any 6 makes it straight. Small blind now checks. I mean, I really don't have a read on how they play. We just sat down. I'm fresh at the table. I decide to bet 50 just to see where I'm at. Only the small blind calls. And the river is a king. He checks. No need to bet here. We check it back. Our nines are actually good, and we take it down. No vid was taking notes, but we get pocket kings the very next hand. I swear, I always get a good hand while taking notes and miss the best footage. But anyways, I open 10 in early position and get 3 callers, the small blind, big blind, and button. The flop comes queen, queen, 10. It checks to me, and I check. We got an over, but the board is paired 4 ways. Somebody definitely has a queen here. It checks all the way through, and the turn is an 8. Small blind checks. The big blind bets out 5. I'm like, really? A string me along $5 type of bet. Probably just a queen begging for a call. I call though, and so does the button. Now the small blind check raises up to 20, and the big blind folds. I'm like, oh, there's the queen. He's got the queen, of course. He's short, only has like 70 behind. I just call. I'd probably fold if this pot was bigger and he was deeper behind. Heads up, and we smack the river for a king boating us up. We only lose the quads now, which is unlikely. He leads for 20. I put him all in for the rest, and he snap calls. He shows king queen. I low-key feel kind of bad. This is a bad beat for sure. Lucky for him, though, he wasn't deeper. Our bad play is rewarded. We take it down, but I mean, I really should be folding there when I know he's got trip queens. We got pocket 10s with the straddle on over 2 limps, and I open the 30 in middle position. And straddler and only one of the limpers call. The flop comes out ace high, not good. They check it to me, and I see bet for 35. Maybe we could take it down now, but they both call. The turn, they check it to me. I'm pretty much in shutdown mode now when they both call. The guy to my right is an OMC, a real true OMC, not like the one from last session yesterday that you saw. I know he definitely has an ace here, so I check. He's not folding to a bluff. The river is a king. The straddler checks and the OMC bets out 35. We both pretty much snap fold. We know he's got the ace, and sure enough, he exposes ace-jack offsuit. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. I really don't understand why ace-jack offsuit is in his limping range. These OMCs are limping everything. Why don't they just raise pre-flop? I really don't get it. I doubt he has a read on the rest of us that tells him to limp ace-jack because he sees how we react when we look at our cards. Like, there's just no way. Anyways, jack 10 offsuit in early position, and I open for 10. I know it's a little wide, but this table is pretty passive, as you've seen. Nobody's going to 3-bet me here, and I'm not really worried about it. They don't even raise pre-flop. They just limp in and call their entire range, so I'm definitely not worried about no 3-bet. Now that I think about it, actually, I think every single hand this vlog was me opening up pre-flop. That just shows you how passive this table and these games are. Nobody's raising in these low stakes. We get 3 callers, 2 before me and 1 after me, and the flop comes 10, 4, 6 with 2 spades. We hit top pair. The big blind donks into everyone, first to ag for 22. The undergun calls, it's on me. Been playing with him for a while, and I know he likes to bloat his draws for no reason. I put him on a flush draw, and only a flush draw. I'm not even worried about pocket 6s or 4-6 suited or, just any pair, any of that. There's no reason for him to lead here without a flush draw. Still, I just call though. I plan to call him all the way down as long as the spade doesn't come. Three ways now, and the turn is a 2, and the big blind very quickly fires out for 60. Only I call, heads up, and the river is an ace of hearts. The flush never gets there. He checks it over to me. Even though I know he misses flush draw, I still don't think it's a good spot here for me to vet because it's very likely he missed an ace high flush draw, but river top pair was just beating us and decided to check his showdown value over to me. So I checked just to be on the safer side. We show, we're good, and we take it down. He didn't show, but I know he didn't have shit. He 100% misses flush draw. Otherwise, he would have called me on the river. And it always feels good when you read somebody, you put them on an exact hand, and that's what they end up having. 3-4 clubs in the big blind. There's 5 limps over to me, and this kind of puts me in a tough spot, real tough decision. I like raising, but given that many limpers, I'd have to raise to like 25, 27, 30, and at this table, nobody's raising. They limp their entire range, so there's definitely at least one lane in the tall grass with a strong hand who's gonna call me. So I decided to just check my option, and we go to flop of 2, 3, 5 with 2 clubs. We got an open-ended straight flush draw. I haven't hit a straight flush draw in a long time. It'd be nice to hit one right now. I only did it once, and it was in Omaha, which was, if you didn't know, my entire first year, all I played was Omaha. Before I even learned, I had to learn Texas Hold'em after playing Omaha because it's pretty different. The ranges and everything are different. It was pretty hard switch for me. But let me not ramble on too long. I would love to hit this high hand bonus right now. Our hand is strong, but I still check since there's 5 people behind me. I'm pretty much checking my entire range with 5 people left to act. They bet out 10 here and only I call. Let me explain something real quick. I just called because of the high hand bonus. I'm not sure what the minimum requirement in the pot was to hit it. This is not my local casino. Don't want to blow him off his hand. Before we hit this high hand bonus, he's only playing about 150 effective. And I don't remember exactly, but the high hand bonus was like 250 to 500. I always wanted to hit a high hand, and believe it or not, with all the hours I put in, I've never hit a high hand bonus before. Kind of a bad play by me though. I really should just be playing my hand and just check 3-betting him instead of playing for the bonus like a ploppy. Heads up now, and turn is a 9 of hearts. He instantly checks out of turn before I even act as soon as the card flips over. I don't know if that's an angle or what, but I ignore it, try not to think too much into it, and I bet out for about 2/3 pots for 25, like I originally planned on doing, and he quickly calls. The river is a 10, we miss our draw, and I definitely should be bluffing at this. He's only got about a pot size bet behind, but I pussy out and I check it to him. He bets 50, of course. I briefly think about calling him down with a 3 here. I'm like, what could he even have that would snap check turn like that? I just don't know. Ultimately, I decide we're beat. He just put in half his stack on the river. He must have a better hand and wants a call. Because I think a bluff would just jam here. They wouldn't just bet like that. I fold. We were wrong though. He exposes a missed flush. After the fact, it really does make sense. That's why he checked out a turn on the turn, because he only had a flush draw and he wanted to draw to it for free. I ended up leaving the table. It got worse and worse. Quick little story time though. This lady came in, right? And she was sure only playing like 80 effective. That's what she sat down with. And immediately she starts berating the action player next to her at the table, telling him no cursing, and she doesn't want to hear him curse anymore. He's a pretty loud, funny guy. He talks a lot. And eventually it bothers him so much that she gets the floor over when they start bickering back and forth a little bit. The floor comes. They don't exactly tell him to leave, but obviously he's agitated at this point. He ended up leaving because she's getting on his nerves. Everyone else is pretty pissed because we wanted that guy to stay. He was ordering a lot of drinks, having a good time, throwing his money around, and now he's got replaced by this tight lady who's not playing any pots and with only $80 in front of her. And she ends up switching tables like 20 minutes later anyway. Like, what's the point of complaining? I decided to wrap it up after that, shortly after that, and leave.